it's a time capsule. It's a memorial to a lost time. And I think that what we're looking at in that whole area is the outcome of contact with an earlier, largely lost civilization.
Beneath the frozen soil of Russia, far from satellites and cities, something ancient has been hiding in the dark, long before modern civilization ever existed. What scientists recently uncovered inside this prehistoric underground megastructure wasn't just unexpected. It was disturbing, carved deep into solid rock with no clear purpose, no known builders, and no tools that should have existed at the time. This vast subterranean complex defies everything we thought we knew about early human capability. The deeper researchers went, the more the evidence suggested this place was never meant to be lived in, but used. Strange chambers, unnatural symmetry, traces of extreme heat where none should be possible, and symbols that don't match any known culture. Some scientists now believe this structure wasn't built to protect people from the surface, but to protect the surface from what was inside. Before we go any deeper, make sure you like this video and subscribe, because once you see what they found, you'll understand why this discovery is being called one of the most unsettling in human history. Russia's enigmatic mountain passage. In southern Russia lies a striking and mysterious region called Kabardino-Balkaria. Nestled within the North Caucasus Mountains, this land is home to some of the tallest peaks in Europe. Towering above them all is Mount Elbrus, rising more than 18,000 feet into the sky. Even during summer, its peak stays buried in snow, glistening in the sunlight, like a silent guardian watching over the ancient terrain below. The region is shaped by sharp mountain ridges, plunging valleys, powerful rivers, and dense forests so thick that sunlight barely reaches the forest floor. For generations, Kabardino-Balkaria has been known as a place of raw beauty and unforgiving terrain. Traveling through these mountains has never been easy, and the people who call this land home have been shaped by strength, endurance, and resilience. Those who crossed the Caucasus often spoke of its overwhelming force, its lonely beauty, and the courage of its inhabitants. Kabardino-Balkaria, like the Greater Caucasus region, is home to many different ethnic groups. Each community has its own language, customs, and traditions. Together, they have preserved countless legends and myths, stories that hint at secrets buried deep within the mountains themselves. Ancient legends and underground cities. The traditional legends of Kabardino-Balkaria go far beyond tales of mountain spirits and heroic figures. Many speak of hidden tunnels, vast cave systems, and even entire underground cities believed to have been built in ancient times. Some stories tell of people who once lived beneath the surface to protect themselves from enemies, moving through winding passageways carved into the earth. Other legends describe long stone corridors so precise and symmetrical that they seemed impossible to be formed naturally, suggesting they were shaped by skilled hands using advanced tools. These stories were passed down from generation to generation, shared beside campfires on freezing nights, protected through centuries of oral tradition, and eventually recorded in local folklore collections. While many dismissed them as imaginative legends, others believed they concealed fragments of a forgotten truth. Interest in these tales grew during the 20th century. Explorers, researchers, and historians began turning their attention toward the Caucasus Mountains in search of hidden answers. During the Soviet era, the region was heavily surveyed because of its rich natural resources, including oil and valuable minerals. Yet despite extensive studies and mapping efforts, vast areas of Kabardino-Balkaria remained unexplored and poorly understood. Meanwhile, local residents continue to speak of narrow shafts plunging deep into solid rock, passageways that appeared unnaturally smooth, and stone blocks stacked with such precision they resembled carefully laid bricks. This blend of ancient folklore and unexplained geological features drew the attention of scientists willing to investigate where established science met the unknown. Arthur Gemmakov's quest. One of these researchers was Arthur Gemmakov, a Russian cave expert who had been intrigued by the hidden world underground since he was young. Gemmakov dedicated a large portion of his life to exploring and researching caves throughout Russia, driven by a curiosity to discover what was hidden beneath the Earth's surface. By the end of the 2000s, Gemmakov had become known for his relentless determination and courage, bravely venturing into some of the most isolated and hazardous areas in the country. Gemmakov was different because he believed that ancient stories could have important information. While other scientists thought folklore was just made-up stories, he saw it as a helpful source of clues. He liked to mix traditional stories with scientific information, thinking that by comparing them carefully, they could uncover some amazing discoveries. He also looked at old military documents from World War II, hoping to find hidden references that could relate to local legends. In 2011, Gemmakov decided to focus on Mount Kahora, an isolated peak in Kabardino-Balkaria. He made this decision on purpose after hearing stories from villagers about a mysterious vertical shaft in the mountains. Additionally, old reports from wartime indicated that German soldiers had shown curiosity in that same location during the Caucasus campaign in 1942. After considering these different pieces of information, Gemmakov believed there was something strange hidden in those mountains. He didn't just want to find another cave. He wanted to see if the stories about man-made structures underground were true. He thought of the Caucasus as a place of both natural beauty and a storehouse of history, possibly holding clues to ancient civilizations. To achieve this goal, he got his gear, climbing tools, and a few dependable team members. They made sure to plan well, knowing the landscape would be tough and the trip would be hard. The discovery. In 2011, Gemmakov finally made it to Mount Kahora. After lots of preparation, he found something amazing on the rocky slope, a narrow vertical opening in the stone that had been hidden by vegetation and erosion for centuries. This opening was not big, but it went deep into the mountain in a straight line. Most cave entrances have a rough and uneven look, but this one was smooth and clean-cut, as if it had been intentionally carved. The hidden chamber beneath Kahora. Arthur Gemmakov stood in front of the narrow entrance at Kahora, knowing that what was inside was not like a usual cave. The opening was small at the top, but went down vertically into darkness. It seemed like it was man-made, rather than natural. The shaft looked like it was intentionally carved straight into the mountain. Initial measurements suggested that it went down about 130 feet, almost as tall as a 12-story building. Gemmakov and his team had to prepare carefully to safely reach the bottom. They made sure to secure ropes, check their climbing gear, and plan out each movement, because one mistake could be deadly. The descent started slowly, with each climber carefully making their way down the vertical shaft. The air got colder as they went deeper, and the space became more confined. Their shoulders brushed against the smooth stone walls, and the ropes made creaking sounds from the tension. Although physically tiring, the peculiar surroundings made them forget about their exhaustion. Unlike natural caves, the walls were flat, straight, and incredibly smooth. In the dim light of their headlamps, The stone surfaces gleamed faintly, with no signs of the usual jagged features caused by water or molten rock. The lines on the walls were perfectly parallel, clean, and uniform. As the team delved deeper into the shaft, it became increasingly clear that this was not a natural formation. The sides of the shaft were meticulously crafted, reflecting light in a precise manner that created distinct shadows. Every aspect of the shaft seemed carefully planned and measured. Even Jemakov, an experienced cave explorer, was taken aback by what he saw. The team continued their descent for over an hour, completely focused on the task at hand. The seemingly endless vertical drop created a tense atmosphere, with the sound of ropes sliding and metal clasps clicking echoing throughout the confined space. The risk of a small mistake leading to a dangerous fall loomed large, as the narrow shaft provided little room for error recovery. The underground chamber. At last, after what seemed like a very long time, their flashlights made it to the bottom, and what they saw made them stop moving. The small passage they were in suddenly led to a large underground room. The sudden change in size was so surprising that they stopped and stared at what was in front of them. The room spread out in all directions, and the ceiling was almost 120 feet tall, towering above them like the inside of a cathedral. It wasn't a small hidden space. It was a large area underground, closed off from the world above. Their flashlights revealed more incredible details. The walls were not made of rough, scattered stone, but of huge rectangular blocks. Each block had smooth sides and sharp corners, fitting together perfectly. Some blocks were so big they were believed to weigh over 200 tons, much heavier than expected in a mountain. However, they were arranged neatly in perfect order. The joints between them were so precise that it was difficult to see where one block ended and another began. The explorers were amazed by how perfectly the blocks fit together. It appeared as though the stones were intentionally placed with no gaps whatsoever. As the team explored the chamber, they saw more features. Some of the stone blocks were upright, like pillars, appearing to hold up the high ceiling. These column-like shapes made the place feel sturdy and well-planned. There were narrow passages branching off from the main hall, but they were tight and hard to get into. Even the smallest team member had trouble squeezing through. The walls in these corridors were smooth, and the corners where they met were precise and sharp. The team realized these were deliberate cuts, not natural cracks in the rock. The more they examined them, the whole chamber had a feeling of exactness and importance that couldn't be overlooked. Everything in it looked straight, level, and intentional. Most caves in nature have uneven floors, curved tunnels, and irregular shapes from erosion. But in Kahora, there were no such features. Instead, every surface seemed made on purpose, every edge carefully measured. It was as if people had shaped the mountain a long time ago, even though there was no evidence of that in the area. However, there was also a sense of danger present alongside the wonder. They had already spent over an hour climbing down, and the journey back up would be even more challenging. The vertical drop above them mandated absolute focus and strength to ascend, as any mistake could have fatal consequences. Despite being spectacular, the chamber was not a secure location. It lacked natural light, had minimal air circulation, and only had one narrow exit. The atmosphere was stagnant, oppressive, and quiet, intensifying the stress on the explorers. Every noise, whether it was the sound of water dripping or their equipment shifting, seemed to reverberate endlessly throughout the vast space. Standing in the dim light of their lamps, Arthur Jemakov and his team discovered something more extraordinary than just a cave, theories and speculation. When word got out about the Kahora shaft, it caught the interest of researchers, explorers, and historians right away. Many people were quick to liken this mysterious structure to the Great Pyramid of Giza, one of the most remarkable ancient wonders in the world. The clean, straight walls discovered deep in the Caucasus Mountains brought to mind the Grand Gallery of the Pyramid, where massive stone blocks were fitted together with remarkable accuracy and nearly invisible seams. Could they have shared advanced architectural knowledge across great distances in the distant past? Is it possible that there was a connection between these civilizations that we have since forgotten? As researchers discussed these ideas, new theories emerged regarding the actual function of the Kahora shaft. Some experts proposed that it could have been a component of a bigger underground structure intended to serve as a ventilation system. Others thought that it wasn't meant for human use, but instead as an energy passage or chamber that could control sound or natural forces in mysterious ways that are still unknown to science. Some researchers had more bold ideas. They suggested that the Kahora shaft may have been the foundation of a huge pyramid that either fell down or got buried. According to this belief, what we see now could be the solid base of a large structure that was once visible. In addition, some thought the shaft could have been an ancient generator that drew energy from the earth. These ambitious theories could not be ignored because the surfaces of the shaft were smooth, with geometric angles and near-perfect symmetry that did not look natural. Instead, they implied a purpose and design that went beyond what could be explained by geology. The Nazi connection. The mystery of Kahora became more interesting when researchers investigated events from World War II. In the 1930s and 1940s, high-ranking Nazis became fascinated with occult beliefs and ancient myths. Heinrich Himmler, leader of the SS, started a group called the unnatural. While it was supposed to study the ancestry of the Aryan race, its true purpose was to explore ancient legends, secret traditions, and lost civilizations worldwide. The unnatural organization sent research teams to locations such as Tibet and the Middle East in search of a mythical land known as Shambhala. Legend says that Shambhala was a hidden underground kingdom where ancient knowledge and advanced technology were safeguarded by an ancient civilization. The leaders of Nazi Germany believed that discovering this mysterious place could not only validate their beliefs, but also grant them access to supernatural powers that could aid them in their quest for victory in the war. In 1942, the German army started Operation Edelweiss to take over the oil-rich Caucasus region. The operation was supposed to secure fuel supplies for the German military, but some think it had a secret motive. Some researchers say the Nazis were also looking for ancient sites linked to their mysterious beliefs in the region. During that time, there were reports of swastika carvings found on rocks near Kahora Peak, close to the entrance of the shaft. The exact meaning of these symbols is still unclear. Some think they were just markings made by soldiers to mark their territory, while others believe they were linked to occult studies done by Nazi teams in the mountains. Regardless, the presence of these carvings added an eerie new element to the mystery, hinting that the Germans may have been at the site long before it was rediscovered by modern explorers. The swastika found near Kahora has historical significance. This symbol has been around for a long time in various parts of the world before the Nazis used it. In Central Asia and the Caucasus, the swastika has been a symbol of life, energy, and nature's cycles for thousands of years. Archaeological discoveries and local stories in the area have talked about ancient civilizations thriving in the mountains in ancient times. Many people believe that having both old and new swastikas in the same location is not a coincidence. They think that Kahora could have been important for a long time, connected to ancient builders with advanced knowledge and modern groups trying to reveal their secrets. The silent mystery research on the Kahora shaft has come to a halt today. Many people thought that scientists, archaeologists, or government organizations would investigate the site after early explorations. However, those hopes gradually diminished. No official or verified studies have been released. There are no detailed maps, peer-reviewed articles, or official scientific surveys that could give us insights into what's below the surface. This lack of thorough research has kept Kahora out of the spotlight, leading to a mysterious silence that intrigues the public and disappoints scientists. Scientists are hindered by the lack of support from institutions, which hinders progress. They are unable to draw conclusions without data. However, for the public, this lack of information has intensified the mystery. The uncertainty has transformed Kahora into a hub for imagination and speculation. Each unanswered question leads to new theories, fueling curiosity even more. The only things left today are bits and pieces of what was once thought to be a promising discovery. Photographs taken by Alexander Sploshnov reveal geometric shapes and very smooth surfaces deep inside the shaft. Some people think these shapes are too perfect to occur naturally, while others believe they could still be created by natural geological processes. The stories linked to Arthur Gemukov, the man who initially investigated the shaft, and the tragedies that came after his discovery, are also part of the narrative. These tales intertwine with the long-standing local legends in the Caucasus region about ancient underground cities constructed by civilizations that have faded into history. Altogether, these pieces create a captivating but unfinished picture. Currently, the majority of the discussion about Kahora takes place on the internet. People use various platforms to talk about and examine all the evidence related to it. Some believe that Kahora is an old structure built by humans using advanced methods much earlier than what is known in history. On the other hand, there are people who doubt this and think it is just a strange natural formation. Both sides share their own interpretations of a few photos, descriptions, and limited information available. As a result, Kahora is still talked about through pictures, stories passed down verbally, and ongoing online conversations that keep the mystery alive. What if it's proven to be man-made? If scientists were to confirm that Kahora was built by humans, the consequences would be enormous. It would instantly become the largest ancient structure ever discovered, far bigger and more complex than anything known so far. The sheer scale of the underground stone blocks would force experts to rethink humanity's early history. Such a discovery would push the timeline of advanced technology back by thousands of years, challenging everything we currently believe about ancient civilizations. Classrooms, museums, and history books would all need to be rewritten. Long before Egypt, Mesopotamia, or any other early civilization, there may have existed master builders whose skills matched, or even surpassed, those of modern engineers. Archaeologists would be stunned, and our understanding of human development would be turned upside down. We would be left asking who these builders were, how they achieved such precision, and why their civilization vanished without leaving clear traces. It would challenge nearly every assumption we hold about human progress and history. The lasting mystery, yet even without clear evidence or explanation, Kahora continues to hold powerful significance. Throughout history, humans have been drawn to things that defy easy understanding. Structures like the Egyptian pyramids, the stone figures of Easter Island, and the ancient circles of Stonehenge still inspire wonder today. While Kahora may not be as widely known, it plays a similar role in igniting curiosity and imagination. Kahora represents humanity's endless desire to explore, question, and imagine what lies beneath the surface of the Earth. Many consider it remarkable precisely because it offers no clear answers. Its mystery matters more than any single explanation, reminding us how vast the world truly is and how much remains unknown. Situated in the Caucasus Mountains, Kahora reflects human curiosity, fear, and creativity. Whether it turns out to be a natural formation or a man-made structure, it stands as a reminder of how much we have yet to uncover about our planet and our past. Not knowing keeps the search alive. It pushes us to stay open-minded and curious. And so, the mystery of Kahora continues to ask the same timeless question. What lies beneath, and what does it mean for us?